My cats care a lot more about getting fed than me sleeping past 5:30 a.m.
Why is buying stamps so hard?
I don't know. But apparently I need a power tool to hang my new mirror. Who has power tools?
Why does every online recipe have to include an essay on the history of the dish? Give me the recipe already.
Yeah, and have such a good day. Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Have Such a Good Day, because we are recording this
So very special.
on Thanksgiving morning.
Can you believe that? We have actually time in between cooking and getting ready and primed for Thanksgiving dinner.
You know, Thanksgiving is we're going to talk about this a little later in the show, but Thanksgiving it means a lot of different things to different people.
Oh, yeah.
And in some ways, the whole holiday is, especially because I have a lot of international friends, it's like, you know, the rest of the world is not celebrating Thanksgiving.
No. And the history
Not today,
books,
anyway.
You know, kind of lied about things.
Right.
So, like, things
Thanksgiving
are...
is actually a little bit more complicated.
It's more of a lie than we ever thought.
Right. The social implications are a little dark.
You know, there might be something going on. You know, like the locust sort of thing. What was that, like one of the signs of the apocalypse? Well, you might see there's all these termites, these flying termites that are descending on my patio. There's a ton of them. It's kind of bizarre. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Hey, for you audio folks, if that wasn't an incentive to watch the video version, I don't know what is.
Termites are falling.
It's true. Heather and I are on her porch, as we tend to do. Although we're
There's one in your hair currently.
Oh, good. That's great. That is so nice. But it's a beautiful day in LA. We've got a couple of hours before we're both going to a friend's house for a real nice Thanksgiving dinner. Mm-hmm. And as luck would have it, all of a sudden there are flying termites. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently they fly.
I guess it's better than a bunch of mosquitoes.
Or bees.
Or yeah, I guess it could be worse. Or locasts. I don't know. Like maybe that's...
If there were a bunch of mosquitoes, I would be very annoyed.
We wouldn't be out here.
If there were bees, I wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
I can't. I just can't. I can't be comfortable around bees.
No, definitely not.
It's just not happening.
No,
so
it's
flying
not.
termites it is. Heather, I don't know. I mean, maybe you'll get back to your house tonight and everything will collapse because they would have eaten through your wood.
It's kind of creeping me out a little bit. But you know what? We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this.
We are.
This is the show. If you are tuning in for the first time, you know we're just we're a couple classy ladies. Just
I like how it sounds like you're trying to convince yourself of that. We're classy, okay?
We are. We're
classy,
very, very
right?
classy. And, we just want to, the point of the show is to share the absurdity of kind of everyday life, of adulting for your entertainment. And I know absurdity is relative. I'm sure that other people have more absurd lives.
Sure.
Maybe people who have joined the circus or whatever.
The circus
However,
would be
pretty absurd.
I actually know somebody who was in the circus.
So do I.
And I wouldn't call her absurd, but she has some pretty absurd stories.
Oh yeah,
youth.
I'm close to somebody who had a little time on the road with a traveling circus.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He's got some good stories.
Well, I bet he does.
So Sarah, bonus topic. In fact, we did a poll this week and we had some Thanksgiving related questions, like what are you thankful for? What do you, wish that you were more thankful for?
This
but you know
Sarah,
what?
by the way.
Yes, we're starting early. It's currently 12:23 p.m.
Hey, past noon on
Pacific
Thanksgiving
time.
is fair motherfucking game.
It really is. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. The one that won by a landslide was, if you could live in any decade of your life again, what would it be? And you got to explain why.
Sure.
So we're going to talk about that a little later in the show for you $5 and above contributors.
Yeah. So if you're like bonus topic, what's up with that for anybody who is contributing to our Patreon, $5 or more? We do more show at the end of the show because you probably just need it. So it's something that we offer you to say thanks for helping support the show. We'll talk a little bit more about Patreon later in the show, but what the point of the show is Heather and I hanging out drinking wine, but also hanging out with all of you and hoping to make this as happy and
big
loving
of a community
and comforting of a community as possible.
Yep.
We love you all. We examine funny, disturbing, weird, hilarious oddities from the internet.
Technology, science,
Yeah.
music. We haven't talked about music for a while, but you know what? You just, depending on the week, you just don't know exactly what you're going to get, and that's what's exciting about it.
I just keep waiting for the Kanye album. That's never happening. But it's that I might be waiting forever. Who knows?
You might be. And, in the meantime, though, how's your week been, Sarah?
It's been good. So my mom's in town. Heather and I live really close to each other, and my mom's back watching a football game at my house. I was like, do you want to come to Heather's house and watch us record? And she was like, I'll stay. But she's also babysitting my dog. So it all worked out nicely. But my mom is in this neighborhood that we live in now for the first time, and we've been doing lots of walks because she and I both like to walk, and it's been really nice to have her here. However, as I mentioned at the top of the show, when my mom is in town, she gets the bed and I get the couch.
It's very nice
because
of you.
that's what you do for your mom. Mm-hmm. And not that we wouldn't share a bed, but one of us snores. I'll let you guess which one. So I stay on the couch. And we've been doing this for years, which is fine. However, my cats in my new apartment are not used to the bedroom door being closed. They kind of come and go, right? Mm-hmm. They might be at the foot of the bed. They might, whatever. But because I'm on the couch and then the bedroom door is closed, they're just more disruptive than usual. Mm-hmm. And, as much as I trim my cat's nails, which is often, I don't know what, my cat Lucy, her nails just grow really quick. Yeah, and so after walking silently, on hardwood for a while, all of a sudden it's clickety-clack all night long. Can't get comfortable, back and forth, to the point where I got up this morning at 5 and I fed them just so they would stop.
Totally.
I didn't want to give in. It's bad parenting, but I had it. And, sleeping on the couch is not the same as your own bed.
No, cats suck.
Cats suck.
It's funny,
but I love them.
But I love them too.
If you're listening, Sam and Lucy, I still love you. I just wish you would be cooler.
That reminds me of, how do you feel about people who on profiles, whether it's Facebook or, dating profiles, usually dudes will say, dogs are definitely better than cats. They'll state it in their bio. Does that rile you up a little bit?
It doesn't, because I have a dog and I love him. So I'm a dog and cat person. And I know that some people are on one side of the fence or the other. Sure. But I do. It's funny how, if you say dog person or cat person, most of the time someone's like, oh, dog.
Totally.
Or, oh, cat. It's never sort of I love animals.
Yeah, that's how I respond.
Yeah. Which I do. I like rabbits.
What, you like possums?
Speaking a possum or a lizard or
speaking of marmots, I have a little.
Speaking of marmots, yeah.
I was hanging out in my living room early this morning, getting my cookie batter ready for today's party.
Heather's baking cookies for our Thanksgiving dinner tonight.
They are peanut butter, dark chocolate chip, and they have extra peanut butter, vanilla, and dark chocolate chips in them. They're bomb. I learned the recipe when I was in Spain earlier this year from my friend Rona. And
that sounds really good.
They're so good. And we'd come back from a long night of being out on the town, and she would throw some, dough in the oven. I would have about 5 cookies before I went to bed. It was very healthy. They were so good. I'm not sure I'll be able to make them as good as her, but she's a pretty good cook. Anyway, so I was laying on my couch this morning, and I looked up at the skylight. I have a little skylight in my living room, and guess what I saw? Lots of adorable little paw prints on my skylight on the roof that were definitely not cat.
Yeah.
I believe they were probably a raccoon. Mm-hmm. But I kind of liked knowing that there was a little raccoon on my roof.
Imagine if you looked up and there's a raccoon.
It would freak me out.
It wouldn't freak me out because your skylights they don't open.
No.
Right? So they're sealed.
Yeah, sure.
But can you imagine you're watching a movie and you look up and you're like, oh, the raccoon's actually watching the movie with me.
Yeah, that would freak me out. Or the possum, Anyway, so I've had actually a pretty good week. I think that there's a lack of pressure this week because of it being the
holiday stuff.
And I had 2 meetings on Tuesday. That I was kind of nervous about. One was sort of a project. Yeah, project. Both of them were project related, but very different. And it wasn't like I was nervous. The nervousness was more like didn't know what to expect. It was sort of like the anxiety of like not knowing how it was going to be. And it's funny. I don't even know. There wasn't really any specific reason why I was anxious, but I had to go across town. It was a big day. And it's funny. Both of them turned out to be quite nice. They were really fruitful, and the people that I met with were great. I was taken to a sushi lunch, and they were like really promising projects. So I just wanted to mention how a lot of times when you think something is not going to turn out very well, but then it does. Life can be surprising sometimes, Sarah.
Absolutely. There are so many instances where it's like, I'm really dreading this thing I've committed to doing. Or there's a chore that I just don't want to do, or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, and you psych yourself so far out.
Totally psych yourself out.
And then when it's over, you're relieved. Something fruitful has come from it. Lots of it happens all the time because I
love when that happens.
Me too. And I definitely am. I'm really guilty of overthinking and procrastinating.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're the same person in some respects in that way. And it's funny having my mom she's one of these people where it's like, if the flight's at 10, we're ready at 7, and we've packed 4 nights ago.
Yeah.
She's just very organized and doesn't like to be late and wants to be prepared, and that's just the way that she is. And I wish I was that person, but I kind of like worry and avoid things.
Yeah,
and
you are very avoidy. I'm a little bit in between because I can be very organized. I'm very punctual, but I get it. Like I think the punctuality, I have an internal clock, but I also do procrastinate. I need to have some kind of deadline to push me to, and I will get it done early. But if I don't put a deadline in my calendar for myself, it'll kind of slip into the cracks.
Oh yeah. Well, I had a recording session for another podcast with someone the other day, and she called me and was like, "Ready for this?" And I was like, "What are we talking about?" And she was like, the thing we're recording in like 5 minutes, just calling you to make sure you're there. And I was like, if there's no calendar entry that you sent me, I don't like whatever you said just went away.
Well, even if there is a calendar entry, sometimes it's a little touch and go.
Well, I've got a little issue with my Google Calendar talking to my iCal, that's for sure. But it's it's like in passing, like don't like 7 dadays from now, I'm not going to remember that we were supposed to do something at 9:30 a.m. ever.
No, definitely not.
My gosh, It's
enough.
It's an invite or it's nothing. Hey, so I wanted to kick off this special Thanksgiving holiday episode with the idea of cash going away. Now, over the years, I somewhat it's a little bit tongue in cheek. I'm always saying ban cash because I hate cash.
Sure,
it's dirty, it weighs a lot. At least coins. I'm always like, how many ones do I have?
I throw pennies on the street all the time.
I just want no more cash the way that I want no more paper and pens and just stuff that just is just in the way.
Calendar entries,
stamps, all of it. Ban cash. Now I understand that that's actually a bit of a complicated thing to say because it's societal. Some people need to deal with cash and can't just get a bank account because they want to and blah blah blah. Putting all of that aside, I thought that we might focus on the country of Sweden for a minute.
Because why not?
Because why not? No, Sweden's wonderful. I've been there. I've been to Stockholm anyway. Lovely. But Sweden is interesting in the cash conversation because a fifth of Swedes, people who live in Sweden, and the country has 10 million people, so a fifth is a lot, don't use automated teller machines anymore. More than 4,000 Swedes have implanted microchips in their hands so that basically instead of like, doing like the tap to pay with your phone, you just...
How do you feel about that? Because I would think that you would like the ease of it, but you wouldn't want to have something in your hand.
I would.
You would do it?
Any day. Any day. I want to pay for my coffee as easy as possible. Put a chip in my hand. I don't care. I got nothing to hide. However, yeah, again, not for everybody. It sounds crazy, but it's like there are quite a few people in Sweden who have done
shocking.
this, and across Europe as well, and other places. But Sweden, in particular, seems to be
very progressive.
They're getting away from cash to the point that the country is sort of like, whoa. All right, are we ready for this? Mm-hmm. Is this going to hurt the economy in some way that maybe we haven't thought about enough? The most interesting part of this, I thought, was, and well, it's not super surprising because of course young people are going to drive the future of the world. But among 18 to 24-year-olds in Sweden, the numbers are kind of crazy. 95% of young folks between 18 to 24 purchases are with a debit card or a smartphone app called Swish.
Ooh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, well, it's very popular in Sweden. It's
I know
a payment
someone
system.
named Swish, but
yeah, me too. Hello, Swish. Payment system that was set up by Sweden's banks. So this is a system where the banks aren't being cut out or anything. It's not like, oh, we're all into cryptocurrency or anything.
Yeah.
It's basically Sweden and its residents getting to the point where printing cash may go the way of the dodo sooner than later. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I wanted to see how you felt about that.
It's really interesting that you bring this story up because just yesterday I went to my favorite pho cafe, which I still have to take you to. It's in our neighborhood.
I know, you've been going quite a bit.
I have. I go by myself and just get lunch, and it's totally fine to go by yourself. It's not weird. There's like everybody in there is having lunch by themselves, and the only thing is they are cash only, which it throws me every time. I always forget, and I usually don't have cash. The only things I really need cash for are that place and like marijuana when I go to my dispensary.
Are they cash only too?
Yeah, they're always cash only, and they always have an ATM on site because most people. I mean, you cannot use card,
which is whatever.
Well, yeah, and so I had to walk. They had to trust me to walk down the street to the ATM after I had eaten to go get cash, and I got like $100 or something, and it's funny. I realized as I was walking back, I was kind of like, counting my money and feeling it in my hands. And I miss it. I actually kind of miss, I feel the same way as you. Like, I want it to be convenient. Money's heavy. I have a little coin purse that I have quarters in for like the meters and stuff like that in my car. So I try to, get it out of my purse so it doesn't weigh me down. But I like the feeling of cash in my hand. I sort of miss cash transactions. There's something that feels, because it's so tactile, and you're like it feels good to have a bunch of money in your hands.
See, I do not agree. I hate it. I just don't like it. It's bulky, and I don't like it. But I will say, every once in a while, yeah, I'll have gotten money out for whatever reason, and if I'm paying for something at the corner store, I'll be like, oh, wow, actually I have a 20.
Yeah,
and you do save a couple minutes not doing your whole PIN number and the whole thing. I still think we should ban cash.
No, I agree,
I'm with you, Sweden.
And what about when you travel? Like, I love like European currency and just like different currency. I find it's not as interesting because.
Well, don't go to Sweden, Heather.
This is true.
You're not going to get any.
Well, maybe I'll just get a microchip while I'm there. Anyway, these young people, they're getting microchipped. They're not having sex. I mean, what is going to happen to humanity?
We're going to die out. Another way of the dodo.
Well, I know how much we cover this kind of news on the show, but there is some news in the realm of satanic things that I thought I would bring up. That I thought was kind of chilling.
Sure, this is so us.
It is so us.
Satan news. Okay. What's up with Satan these days?
It's there's not too much to talk about. There's a termite that just fell in between my computer. Yeah. Wow.
We got a lot of flying termites.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's out of control.
It really is. So the Satanic Temple organization, like it's a legit organization, claimed that Netflix and Warner Brothers who are putting out the show The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's starring Kieran and Shipka. She
was Sally on Mad Men.
Exactly. Really great actress. It's a pretty popular show. She plays a teenager that is like part of a family of witches.
Is this Sabrina the Teenage Witch like rebooted?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always a reboot these days, Sarah.
All right. I never watched it, but I knew that it was, and there was like a talking cat.
And I might be interested in it, like maybe years ago, because I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love supernatural stuff, but I might be a little too old for this one. This is like, I think, geared for like, real like teens and early 20s. But anyway, so apparently for the show, they copied the image of Baphomet, which is a winged half man, half goat figure that, has been worshipped by various occult groups.
If he's half man, half goat, where do the wings come from? Just because he's satanic?
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Mythical creatures, anything goes.
Okay.
But anyway, apparently the lawsuit has been settled, but I thought it was just sort of interesting. I mean, what other like analogies are there? Like, why would this be such an issue? I don't know. I don't know the Satanic Temple organization people. They might be really hardcore.
Well, okay. So think of it in terms of if there's a famous artist and something that he had created was used, to promote something that someone was getting rich off of, in this case, Netflix. That would probably be an issue.
Sure.
Because there wasn't permission that was asked for and provided ahead of time.
It's sort of disrespectful, too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about the Satanic Church, but if they're like, hey, this is our logo.
We better just start doing some homework, Sarah.
I know. Gosh. I mean.
No, I hear you. It's like anything else. Just do your due diligence and respect the parties involved.
It was funny when this is not about Satan, but my mom, who belongs to an Episcopalian church, and there's a big one that's right on the lake.
Yeah.
Right? Where the bells toll, and it's great. And, I'm like, I don't really know anything about churches, but I'm like, look, Mom, Episcopalian church. And she was like, ooh, that's like one of the diocese things. And I was like, what's that?
Tell me more.
Yeah, it's like exciting, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something about bishops and church things.
Is she going to go?
Well, I mean, she's not going to be here on Sunday.
Oh.
So they're actually doing a real nice
Thanksgiving service.
Well, not only that, but offering food to folks who want to come through and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
And in fact, I kind of wish I would have done that ahead of time.
It's so funny because I just was hearing on NPR the other day, like people who are going to the one in Skid Row, they're doing, I want to do that some year. I really do. Like, instead of it be all about like my joy, like help other people have joy.
Yeah. Which is, if somebody wants a nice Thanksgiving meal and I can help provide that, I mean, I'm not much of a cook, but it's like I'll slang some potatoes, no problem.
And apparently they're like washing their feet and like doing some, like, it's, it's a whole situation.
Yeah, I think that's
really good.
I think that's quite lovely.
Yeah.
So, before we get into a little bit more Thanksgiving talk, I have some feelings about this time of year, the holidays, and
I'm sure you do.
Our hearts and minds. We just wanted to quickly remind folks that we are 100% community supported. We use Patreon as our model. If you're not familiar with Patreon, it is such a great way for creative people to make projects and be supported by a community that they hopefully support as well. Our Patreon is patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. For those of you who are familiar with Patreon, thank you so much. You're the best patrons 2 classy broads could ever ask for. And for those who aren't familiar, take a look, take a gander. We've got a variety of financial milestones, stuff that we want to do if we were financially able to. And hopefully that's something that we will all grow to together as our community grows.
Because right now we'd probably have some kind of filter for the light. Someone's standing here with like a sun filter.
Moving out of the sun.
We've already moved like 8 times to try to avoid the sun, but it's for you video watchers.
Hey, never shot the show so early in the day.
It's true.
Again, for all you audio listeners, boy, you missing out.
Yeah, you really are.
You're not really, but yes, we provide a variety of feeds too. So that's another thing that we do want feedback from our patrons about anything that you would like that we aren't actually offering. And Andy Beach had a really good suggestion the other day, because what we have is we have an audio and video version of the show. We also have our bonus topic version of the show, which is a longer version of the show in audio and video format for our patrons of $5 or more. And Andy had said, for a variety of reasons, sometimes I really like the bonus topic, but I'm kind of in a hurry, and could that be its own feed? Now, if that's something that people want, we are happy to provide.
Totally.
So in that vein, let us know how we can help you, because we want it to be as convenient for you as possible to enjoy your day.
Absolutely. Well put, Sarah. And also we have a few things brewing behind the scenes right now. We haven't made any decisions yet, but I know a lot of people have been excited about merch. That's obviously takes a little bit of extra thought, because we need designs and we need a manufacturer, but we're working on it. And we have some other things that we're hoping to add to our $10 tier very soon. So stay tuned. Maybe if you're kind of on the edge, and you're really close to wanting to contribute, and maybe this will push you over the edge. So please stay tuned. That's coming up real soon here. Hopefully within the next week or so. I'm going to work on this weekend.
And if anybody out there is some sort of a merch expert or perhaps a fashion designer,
let us
never know. Well, let's collab, and we'll get so rich.
Like, I don't know, maybe your name is Marc Jacobs.
Off of Have Such a Good Day sweatpants. Yeah.
No, I'm serious. We have some really good ideas. We just need help executing.
Listen, if everyone wants to wear sweatpants with pink across the butt, they might as well wear ours.
We'll make a male version.
Yeah.
But yes, hot pink is going to be part of the female design. So hopefully you're cool with that.
Absolutely. I just bought pink sheets. In fact,
they're
not hot.
Yeah,
they're not hot pink would sheets. They're more of a dusty rose, but boy, are they nice. Ooh, good linen sheets, man. I'll tell you.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Yes,
very girly.
These are the things that I do. Hey, I live alone, and until some man wants to come in and make everything blue and gray, it's gonna be pink.
Oh no, I totally
live
agree.
with it.
I mean, you might as well
deal with it.
You know what? Enjoy it while it lasts. I just got a pink hoodie. In fact, I was with you the other day.
It's so
terrible
cute.
Purchase, because I shouldn't even have. It was one of those impulse purchases, but cozy little hoodie. It's like hot pink.
Same day.
Yeah, that's right.
I got a camo
we did some
fanny
damage.
pack. This I've used it every day since.
Oh, I bet. I bet you're not even. That poor purse is like.
I love it. Yeah, it is replacing a.
You've had that purse for like that other purse that you replaced this with. You've had that for, I swear, since I met you like 20 years ago.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, maybe almost.
Yeah.
Almost. All right. Well, let's go back to Thanksgiving for a minute, because it is Thanksgiving Day as we record this. And Heather and I are going to our mutual friend's house, who's putting together a really nice spread, and there are going to be some folks there. My mom's going to come, and so it's a little family and a lot of friends.
It's a Friendsgiving.
And I've done a lot of those lately, and it just kind of got me thinking of how much Thanksgiving has changed for me over the years. Because when I was a little kid, through pretty much college until my grandmother passed away, we had big family Thanksgivings. That's what you did. Whether you wanted to or not, that's what you did. You better have a really good excuse if you weren't coming.
Sure.
Because that's what we did. And it was my normal for a long time. But there's also, there's funny stuff, especially with big families. As anybody with a big family would probably agree, certain people don't get along. And
there's always dysfunction of some kind.
There's dysfunction of some kind. There's a little bit of like the sameness of like, it's the same, whatever. But it's family, and we need to be thankful. And I really miss those days, because my family has some of our elders have passed on. People have moved to different continents. Some of us have just sort of. We're living our adult lives, and we don't stay in touch so much that we would get together on Thanksgiving. Lots of reasons why those things change, and I miss it.
God, I do too.
I don't. Yeah, that hasn't happened with either side of my family in a few years. And I do miss it, because you kind of miss your youth. But I also, I think that, again, it's funny because people will talk about turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce and pumpkin pie. And it's like, sure, yeah, got it. But that, like, almost has nothing to do with why Thanksgiving is so nice. It's about being surrounded by people that, you love and are ready to be like a little bit more gushy than usual because you're thankful for each other.
It's funny. I had a long talk with one of the uncles that I'm closest to, and the one that I grew up with, the one that we used to call him like Jungle Jim because we would like climb all over him, and we would do that thing where you stand. Do you ever, like when you were a kid, you stand on top of these? He has really big feet. He's a really tall guy.
Oh yeah, and
you do the walk thing.
Sure, yeah,
he was that guy. I have like. Literally, I have like 10 uncles, but like him and I were probably the closest. We still are. If you're listening, Uncle Mike, a little shout out to you. But it's funny. He's sort of like the one that, holds it together for me. Even now, when I talk to him, that's what I really miss. I miss those times with him. And I was actually going to go. He is having Thanksgiving today up in the Bay Area, and I was going to go up. I will see him over Christmas, thankfully, and my family. But it is different. We don't have kids, and so it kind of has a different vibe. And I agree with you. I have a little bit of that. Like, I never knew that I would ever have to miss that. 5-10 years back, I always thought that would happen every year. Like, that's what would happen. But you get older and you realize that things do change and things are not going to stay the same. Yeah. And you kind of you almost have to mourn these things that happened that aren't, even if they do happen again, it's not the same.
Well, and so one of my closest cousins, my cousin Molly, who
watches the show. Hi, Molly. I love. She's actually written us a nice iTunes review, and I can tell that she watches. She communicates with us. So, hi, Molly.
Hey, Malls. Molly and her husband are having a baby in a few months, and they're up in Tahoe, just kind of getting out of town. And apparently, it snowed, and it's real nice up there.
Fun.
But again, it's sort of like, when she and I were kids, because we're pretty close in age, it's like, well, if I hadn't seen her in a while, like, I'm definitely going to see her on Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yeah. And it's like, she has her own family now.
Yeah.
And I love them. They're wonderful. But it's like, I'm not necessarily going to hang. It's just... people kind of do their thing.
They do.
And you hope to see them when you see them.
Exactly.
And I really like, don't get me wrong, I like stuffing and turkey and the whole thing. I like a Thanksgiving meal, but I also feel like if I had people I loved around me at a table, we could be eating Little Caesars pizza, no problem. It just doesn't matter. Like, that's not the point.
I wonder if we're even having turkey today.
I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure we are. Yes, I am. Our friend is going all out. There's a Google spreadsheet about how much food there is.
I'm very, very excited. So no, this is great, and I'm actually excited. I mean, Sarah and I are spending the day together. She's going to be so sick of me by the end of the night, but we are going to this party together, and we're going to drink champagne, and we're going to have a good time. Maybe there'll be some dancing. I don't know.
Hard to say, but why not?
The evening is our oyster, so we will let you know how it goes. So I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this like a lot of the year, but I came across an article on. Do you read The Man Repeller?
Yes, I do.
It's an interesting site. It's sort of like food for thought. Like, I always feel like I get sort of. It stimulates neat ideas.
For anybody who's not familiar, this is a fashion blog started by Leandra Medine, who actually, another podcast that I produce, we interviewed her, and she's really, really fascinating gal. And the whole idea is being yourself as a woman, even if it repels a man. The point is not to repel men, but if that's what happens, don't worry about it.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's all about you. But the site has grown to much more of a lifestyle site.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like, it's very sort of innovative thinking. I feel like a lot of the stuff you wouldn't see on other mainstream, news sites. I think they definitely have their own thing going, and it's kind of cheeky, and I like it. Anyway, there was an article about, women sort of loving their life path, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with their job. And this has been something I've been thinking about a lot this year, because I've been an independent contractor, which you go through lots of different seasons and phases if you are a committed independent contractor. A lot of times you might be out of work for a while, then you'll get busy again, but it's a real change from having a full-time position. And Sarah, I actually wanted to include you in this conversation. I mean, obviously, but you and I have always had pretty good, fun, creative gigs. We've worked with people that we are friends with, that we party with, that we love seeing every day. We've
And
been
respect.
very, very lucky.
Yes.
And not
Yes.
everybody has this. And
True.
a lot of the, I feel like I've taken it for granted a little bit, because I think I've had it always, and I've always expected it because that's the norm for me. And I've been spoiled. I realize how much a lot of people don't have that. I've been very spoiled. So this year, there have been lulls, and I have always defined myself by my career in a lot of ways, because again, a lot of the people I've worked with have been my best friends, and I've really meshed my professional life with my social life. And I don't regret that at all. But I do realize when you're not filling your time with work 100% of the time, it's very important for you to find meaning in other areas of your life. And it's been interesting for me because it's not like I didn't have other activities. I do a lot of things. I like to hike. I like to do yoga. I have a lot of friends. I'm a real conversationalist. I spend a lot of time with my friends, and I do activities. I go to museums. But really at the end of the day, you got to fill your time. You got to figure out how to fill your time. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job. I mean, I think at first it freaked me out because again, like when you define yourself by what you do and what you're good at, and then all of that is stripped away, what things do you do, to make you feel good about yourself and feel like you're being productive? And anyway, I just think it's important. So if you are someone who is getting up early in the morning, rushing off on your commute, going to a full-time job every day, and you have no time for anything else, I think it's always important to kind of think about what else you could be doing with your time.
And are you happy?
Are you happy?
Yeah. Are you happy with all of this time that you're spending towards whatever it is?
A lot of people are bailing their jobs because of this too.
Yeah. I'll tell you, almost every attorney that I know, not all of them, but many of them, I'm talking more than 5 pretty good friends of mine who went to law school, got their business degree, high-powered attorneys were like, nope, this sucks. I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.
And are now on second or even third careers. It's funny that the idea of kind of being defined by what you do this is a funny thing that, because I've been kind of in the public eye for a while, and I'm known mostly as like, oh yeah, tech person. She's tech reporter. Did stuff on tech TV. And that is my livelihood for the most part. But I'm totally not a one-note tech person.
No. You've got other skills.
No one is a one-note anything, even though that's kind of, that's what I might be defined as. And every once in a while, maybe I'll tweet something about a sports game, or I don't know. I try not to get too political, but it comes out sometimes or whatever. And I love it when the response I'll get is someone being like, you know what, Sarah, I always liked you, but stick to tech.
God.
And you kind of go like, what are you talking about? Like, you're telling me like I can't talk about other things besides this one thing that you just think you know me for?
Everybody has their opinions.
Right. And I love, and you get that a lot too. Sports figures, if they say anything that's a little controversial, people go, why don't you just play basketball and shut up? And it's like
you can't be a well-rounded person.
As if any human would really only care about this one thing that they might be known for.
That's frustrating.
It is frustrating, and it's kind of amusing in a way. And I think we all could think about that a little bit more before we judge others.
I think that's a great idea, and it's a perfect day for deep thinking.
It is.
While you're trying to avoid your family, and you're trying to do menial tasks and chores to avoid them, you could be thinking about this. And, and email us at hi@havesuchagooddday.com with your thoughts, because we really want to hear from you. We're not getting enough email. We get some great emails. We are up to about 20 reviews on iTunes. In fact, I wanted to read one that I find very sweet. I might not read the whole thing because it's rather long, but
okay.
Bass Boy Blair says, "Good day becomes eclectic. Being as I'm a guy, I don't really know what is going on with women and their thoughts. Hey, I'm also gay, so I know even less than not much." So the ability to be
You're probably closer to us than a straight man, but okay, keep going.
To be a publicly invited voyeur and hear the thoughts and meanderings of varying topics of these two fun women and their menagerie of 5 cats and 1 big dog. They cover topics of music, food, relationships, and other everyday topics. And they can kick it into high gear with philosophical topics of how would you want to die and that kind of thing. All this over with a bottle of wine. In either case, take this podcast for a spin.
Fast boy.
I love it. I love that he compares us to, the good day becomes eclectic, which is morning becomes eclectic is an actual
NPR
show on NPR, KCRW. It's
KCRW,
a music
right.
show, and with Jason Bentley. Actually, and he spins cool new music. Anyway, so we love reading things that you write us, whether it's on iTunes as a review or if you guys email us. We do have anything we post on Patreon will be there's always an option to comment. So it starts a conversation. So please feel free to speak your mind. Anything goes really.
And we want to incorporate more of the community's thoughts into the show.
For sure.
For example, if you email us at hi@havesuchagooddday.com, and it's something that really builds upon something that we've talked about before, we're going to build that into a future show. Same thing with a Patreon post where there's a comment, or if there are comments on any of our social networks, like all of it. We know that's the key to getting you more into the conversation. So we pledge to do that going forward.
We really do. We it's very important that we hear from you. So it's funny. We're huddling into the corner because the sun is just blowing us out. So whoever's watching the video,
we
it's
started kind of on the side of the table, and we're going to be hugging pretty soon. I know.
Well, good thing the show is starting to come to a close here.
It is, yes. Although, bonus topic for all you $5 ballers and up on Patreon, there is more to come. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this Thanksgiving edition of Have Such a Good Day.
Thank you so much for joining us
Yes.
and enjoying hopefully the video people are enjoying all the termites flying around.
Termites.
It's quite a
sunshine.
situation.
Dang. At least Heather has good snacks. We got olives,
I know,
we got
seriously.
dolmas.
We've got some divine bovine turkey jerky.
Oh, turkey jerky. Oh, isn't that so
Just so
Thanksgiving
appropriate.
of you?
So appropriate.
We'll go ahead and get into that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. I am Sarah.
And I'm Heather.
And have such a good day.